Okay, so today's lesson is on hot and cold days and how to prepare for each of them. So, what do you think we should wear on hot days? A shirt and shorts? Okay, so t-shirt you said. T-shirt. What was the other thing you said? Shorts. Okay, shorts. Yeah, shorts are good. You can also wear a bathing suit, as we're going to be sailing on the water, so bathing suits are good too. Okay, anything else? Maybe a hat. Okay, a hat. A hat is good. What kind of hat? Would you say a winter hat? No, probably a ball cap. No, okay, so baseball cap. Okay, that's good. What else do you think we should wear? So we got t-shirt, shorts, hat. What about on our feet? Shoes? Yeah, obviously shoes, but what kind of shoes? Maybe sandals? Okay, so sandals. The problem with sandals is it keeps our toes exposed. So specifically, what type of closed-toed sandals? Right, closed-toed shoes. That way our feet are protected, and if you have closed-toed sandals, then it still breathes, and it can still keep cool. Okay, is there anything else that you think we should wear? We're missing one important one. It's not an item of clothing, right? But sunscreen. You should always wear sunscreen. Okay, and what do you think we should have all day with us? Maybe a water bottle. Okay, right. So always have a water bottle. And don't just have the water bottle, make sure you keep the water bottle filled at all times, because you need to be drinking throughout the day. Okay, so, speaking of drinking, let's talk about water, and how we should be drinking water for the whole day. Now what you always want to do is make sure you have a water bottle filled so that you can drink it throughout the entire day. Okay, keep it filled at all times. When you run out, just fill it up at a sink or a cooler, and that'll be good. So, always keep water bottle, because we need to drink all day in order to stay healthy and cool. If we overheat, that's not good. Okay, what should you always do before you launch your boat? Put in your rudder. Okay, but it has to do with water. Fill your water bottle? Right, okay, always fill your bottle before launching. Okay, good. Always fill your water bottle before launching, that way you have water for the entire time that we're on water. Okay. Okay, so what if you happen to forget your water bottle? What if you left it at home, or lost it on your way to camp, and you don't have water for the day? What should you always do? Tell someone? Right. Tell an adult, and they will help you find a spare water bottle for the day. because it's really important that we drink all day. Okay, so next we're going to do now we're going to talk about what happens if you aren't drinking and if you get overheated. This is called heat exhaustion, which can eventually lead to heat stroke, which is really dangerous. So what you want to do to prevent heat exhaustion is just to keep drinking, but the symptoms that you might get if you haven't been drinking, say you forgot, which is okay, but if you did forget, then you might start to feel dizzy. You might start to feel dizzy, or you might get a headache. Okay, so remember that. If you're dizzy, or if you have a headache, you may be experiencing heat exhaustion. And what should you do immediately?
Tell an instructor.
You should tell someone. Always tell someone. Don't just try to tough it out. Always tell someone if you're experiencing heat exhaustion. Okay, so does everyone, do you know the symptoms?
Dizziness and headache.
Dizzy and headache. Okay, remember that. Now let's talk about cold days. Cold days. Okay, so what do you think the ideal things to wear on a cold day are?
A sweater.
Okay, sweaters are good on land, but you don't necessarily want like a sweater. You wouldn't want to wear a sweater on water, because if this was to get wet, then it would stay wet and you'd get even colder. So sweaters are okay on land, but avoid them on water. What should you wear on water?
Jacket, maybe?
Right, okay, jackets are good. Like this kind of jacket, because it would deflect the water and would keep you dry, which inevitably keeps you warmer than you would be wet. Because wet is the big bad thing. So jackets are good. You can also wear a wetsuit, which you'd have to buy, but wetsuits are really good if you're planning on doing a lot of sailing in the cold water. Because that way if you get wet, you'll stay dry underneath the wetsuit and you won't get too cold. Okay, so that's up here. What should you wear down here?
Maybe rain pants?
Rain pants, yes. So we have up top jacket that is waterproof. Not a winter jacket. A winter jacket will not keep the water off of you. Okay, and you said rain pants? Rain pants. So those are good, especially because they'll keep the water out of the lower area. But if you can also just wear a wetsuit. But it's good to wear a jacket with your wetsuit because that's extra protection. And what should you wear under the jacket?
Long sleeve shirt.
Okay, right, a long sleeve shirt. But avoid cotton, because cotton will, if cotton gets wet, it'll stay wet. Okay, and what about on your feet?
Shoes again?
Yeah, closed-toed shoes, but if you have a pair of these, if you're planning on doing a lot of sailing in cold weather, these will keep your feet a lot warmer. They're sailing boots or booties. They will keep your feet a lot warmer because they'll keep the water out, and any water that gets in will stay in, and your body heat will make that water warm, which will inevitably keep your feet warm from the wind and stuff. So booties, jacket, keep the water out. Right, okay. Now, if it's cold out, it's generally going to be cloudy. But what if it's cold out and there's still the sun? Should you wear sunscreen?
Yes.
Yeah, always wear sunscreen. Because even if it's cold out, the sun is still beaming on you, and you can still get burned. So always wear sunscreen too. Anything else that you should wear in cold weather? What about to keep your ears warm? What do you think you should wear?
A hat?
Okay, but a hat like this? Like a baseball cap? Does that keep my ears warm?
No.
No, it doesn't, right. So what kind of a cap do you think is good?
Winter hat?
Yeah, okay. So a winter hat is good on land. And good on water. But if that winter hat on water gets wet, you need to take it off because it will be colder. Because a wet hat on your ear will make your ear colder than just a hat when it's not wet. So always make sure it keeps dry. This is the most important thing when it's cold is to keep dry. So now we're going to talk about keeping dry. Okay, so keep dry. When you're sailing, the last thing you want to do is to get wet when it's cold. Because the wind will hit the water on your body and make you colder. And that is the leading cause of hypothermia, which we'll talk about next. So what you want to do is to wear water-resistant clothing, as we just talked about. Okay? And you want to make sure you know how to flatten your boat, and never, under any circumstances, never jump in your boat, okay? Do not, remember this, do not jump in water. Okay? In a cold scenario, you never want to jump in the water. Because the water is even colder than the air, and you'll be wet for the rest of the day. Okay? Now, how do you keep your boat flat? If you feel yourself starting to tip up, you would
Let out the mainsail.
let out the mainsail. Let it out. Okay? And what else could you do?
Maybe bear off.
You could bear off. You can bear your boat off. So drive away from the wind, and that will flatten your boat. Because the last thing we want to do is capsize and fall in the cold water. Okay? So now, let's talk about what happens if you do get wet, and you do get really cold. The main concern is getting what's called hypothermia. Hypothermia is when your body gets really cold and goes into shock. Okay? So in hypothermia, while you're having hypothermia, so we need to talk about the symptoms of hypothermia and what you should do if you feel any of these symptoms. So symptoms that can include, any guesses?
Shivering.
Shivering is right. Shivering.
Shaking.
Shaking would be under shivering. Okay, so it's the same thing. Now you can get frostbite. If your face gets cold, which means that the face would get white spots all over it, so you need to avoid that. Okay, frostbite. The next one would be slurred speech. Let's do speech. Okay, so if you notice that your partner or your friends on another boat are having trouble speaking and they're slurring their speech, then you might want to tell an adult, because slurred speech is a sign of hypothermia. the final one, if you know someone's getting too cold, is if their lips turn blue. So blue lips. If you notice that your friends on another boat or your partners their lips are turning blue, then you want to warn them and tell them that they need to get warm immediately. Never stay on your boat if you're feeling any hypothermia symptoms, and always check your partner and your friends on other boats for these symptoms throughout the day. All the time. Always checking, okay? Because hypothermia is very bad. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a sheet of paper. Okay? And you're going to draw a person on the sheet of paper like so. Okay, you're going to draw a person on the sheet of paper. And on that person, you're going to draw what you would wear under hot and cold circumstances, okay? Okay. Okay, thanks. So, yeah, this is good. So under hot circumstances, you got ball cap, which is good to keep the sun out of your face. Sunscreen, good. A t-shirt, not just a shirt. You want a light shirt. So you want to make sure your shirt is light so that it doesn't heat you up at all. Filled water bottle is very important. Shorts, yeah. And you'd rather light shorts or a bathing suit than heavy khaki shorts or something like that. Closed-toed shoes, good. That's very important so that we don't cut our feet or anything while sailing. Okay, and under cold you have a winter hat. Sunscreen again. Winter hat is good on land, but if it gets wet, what should you do?
Take it off.
Good, okay. Long shirt / rain gear. That's right, rain gear is important because it gets rid of the water, and long sleeve shirt is super important as well because it'll make sure you stay warm. Okay. Sailing boots, good. Sailing boots. They'll keep your feet very warm, good. Okay, and okay, that's it. Good, good. So, I have a question now. Would you be drinking water on a cold day?
Yes.
The answer is yes. You still need to stay hydrated. Just because it's cold doesn't mean you don't have to stay hydrated. You should still be drinking water. And staying hydrated. Okay. Okay, so next. What are the symptoms? Which one is hot and which one is cold? Shivering. Hot or cold?
Cold.
Cold, right. Okay. Can you name any other symptoms of being cold?
Blue lips.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Now, what if you have a headache? What does that mean?
You're not drinking enough water.
Right, you're too warm. You're not drinking enough water. Okay. And can you name another symptom of not drinking enough water?
Being dizzy.
Dizziness, right. Okay. So, overall, make sure you wear proper clothing on hot and cold days, right? And always look out for the signs of hypothermia and heat stroke, because they're very dangerous. And if you feel any of the signs, or you see someone with any of the signs, you should tell an instructor. Okay? Good. Okay. So let's just quickly review. How do you flatten your boat?
Let out your sail.
Good. Let it out or bear up. Okay. And is it a good idea to wear a winter hat, sweaters, or sweatpants on hot days?
No.
No, absolutely not. It will heat you up way too much, and it's not good on a hot day. Okay. That's it. Okay, good.